Too funny.
So, this next little bit.
Just change your mind in like 3 minutes.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. So this next little bit is going to be kind of bringing him to a different world. So we're in one world there, it's beautiful, it's a beautiful world. So this next world is a world where we're in the desert and we can see the mountains, or we can see the plains. And you know, it's Central America, it's Zuni, New Pueblo. And in this desert there are happenings and there are things that occur and there are magical tales that exist in this place. So here we are in this place. And one of the stories I know that happens near Zuni Mountain, and Zuni Mountain is a pinnacle, very, very tall pinnacle indeed. And on the top of that pinnacle, on this particular day, some magic occurred and some tales were woven into being. So it starts with Coyote, and maybe you've heard of Coyote. He's a trickster, and he is walking along and he's curious and he's wondering what he might find and what he might explore, you know, who he might meet. And then he hears this laughing up on the hill, up on the top of the pinnacle of the mountain. And he hears this laughing and he thinks, what is so funny, what is so enjoyable, what is so magnificent as to make you laugh like that? Okay, so he's curious and he finds his way up the mountain, and it's hard and it's steep, but he climbs to the top. And at the top of the mountain there are two crows, and the crows are racing their eyes. So they see this pinnacle off yonder from where they're sat, and they make a little game of popping their eyes out and racing them around the rock, and they fly back and they come back. So the first crow, he says, eyes in me head, fly around that rock 3 times and come back again. Boom! And off they go and they fly around and they come back. Boom! And the other one says, oh, you think that was quick? You know, watch this. Eyes in me head, fly around that rock 3 times and come back again. Boom! So this is their game and they're racing their eyes. And Coyote, he sees them and he's very curious and he watches them, and then he goes up to them and he asks them, please can I join in your game? And they say, no Coyote, these are not your ways. You should go on your way. Wherever you were going, you do that. But Coyote is curious and he asks them and he begs them, will you teach me your game? Will you teach me how to play? And so they teach him the magic words. And they teach him how it goes, and Coyote growls in his low rough voice, eyes in me head, fly around that rock 3 times and come back again. And nothing happens. So he tries again. Eyes in me head, fly around that rock 3 times and come back again. Nothing happens. So the crows, they say to him, well Coyote, we could help you if you want. And Coyote, as well as the trickster, he is the fool, so he gladly receives their offer of their help. So they get him to say the magic words one more time. And one crow stands here and one crow stands here. And they pick out his eyes. And they throw them off the mountain, off into the plain. And they have to go. And the crows, they go off laughing and flying and they eat his eyes and they have a great day. But this story is not about those crows, it's about Coyote. So Coyote is at the top of the mountain that you remember from earlier. In the desert, the big mountain is at the top of the mountain. And he cannot see. So he climbs and he falls and he tumbles down the mountain until eventually he reaches the bottom with many a bruise and a scratch and a scar. And he goes through the desert, searching for his eyes. And eventually he comes to a small tree with yellow berries. And at this time of year, the berries are ripe and they are scattered across the floor. But Coyote, he cannot see this. So he comes and he's crawling along and he finds something on the floor. Oh, my eye! He's just so pleased, this Coyote. And he gets it and he puts it in. Oh, and it's not as good as it used to be, but he can see a bit of something and it's a bit yellow. And he keeps looking, he finds another one, and he's got them both in. So they say that is why the Coyote has yellow eyes and does not see as far as he did in the old days. Oh yeah. Another land, cold place, further north, on the other side of the world. Very, very long ago. The Inuit people, they tell a story of the first shaman, the very first one. And his name was Morgan Kara, and he was so powerful that he could retrieve souls from the land of the dead. So, one day, a young woman, she became sick, and her parents, they called for Morgan Kara, and he came. But unbeknown to him, thanks to his journeying to the land of the dead, and his bringing of the souls back to the land of the living, the Lord of the dead, the King of the realm of the dead, had complained to the high God of the heavens. And he had said to him, "Oh Lord, this man, this shaman, he's bringing back the souls from the land of the dead. We cannot allow this." And so, the Lord of the heavens, he had decided to pose Morgan Kara a test. And he had taken the soul of this young woman, and he had put it in a bottle. And he put his son over the lid of the bottle to prevent the soul's escape. And he held it in his hand. But Morgan Kara, at this time, he did not know this. So, he goes to this young woman, and she is sick, and her parents are very sad, and she has not woken or eaten or slept for days. So, what does he do? He searches the realms of the living, the forests, the rivers, the trees, the mountains. He searches all of the land, and he finds the soul nowhere. And so, he searches the land of the dead. And he searches, and she is not there. He knows every place. So, he gets on top of his drum, and he rides his drum up, up and up and up and up to the land of the heavens. And in the land of the heavens, he spends many days searching for the soul, many, many days, and he finds it nowhere. And eventually, he sees the Lord of the heavens in the distance. And he sees in the hand of the Lord of the heavens there is a bottle. And Morgan Kara thinks, what is in there? So, what does he do? He turns himself into a bee. Then he transforms into this bee form. And he goes to the Lord of the heavens and he stings him on the thumb. And he's very angry, and the thumb lifts it up. And the soul flies out, and Morgan Kara, he gets it, and he puts it in his medicine bag. And he gets back on his drum, and he sets back as fast as he can go. Down, back to earth. But the Lord of the heavens, he is very angry. And so as these characters do, he sends thunderbolts. It's okay, lovely. He sends thunderbolts. He sends lightning. He sends his rage down. And Morgan Kara's drum that he's riding on splits in two. And Morgan Kara is left with this one skin drum, which he rides back down to earth with the soul. He returns to the family, he returns to the young woman, he returns the soul to its rightful place. The woman becomes well. And so they say, in that part of the world, that is why the drum has one skin and not two as it did in the first days. Oh yeah, thank you. Okay, I'm going to do one more short one, then we're going to get the band back on. This one is in the land of the Arabian Nights. the ancient Persian tales, you know. So we dream into this idea where there's a busy marketplace and there are people selling their wares and there are people in fine robes and there are people in tatters. In this dream world of this mythology that comes from these times. Okay. So there was a restaurant. And the man who owns the restaurant is proud of his restaurant, he's proud of his food, and he's proud of his customers. And in comes a beggar. And the beggar is so hungry, and he's smelling this beautiful smell of the soup. And before he can even ask to beg for a piece of bread, the owner of the restaurant comes to him and he tells him off. What are you doing in my restaurant? What are you doing here? So, he takes him to the judge. And the judge's name is Nur Hadim. And Nur Hadim, he asks the man's complaint and he explains this man has been smelling my soup. It's outrageous. Nur Hadim says to the beggar, and you have no money to pay for any soup, you have no money to buy any food. And the beggar says, no, I'm sorry, I have nothing. So Nur Hadim, he says, well, I will lend you some money. And so he lends the money to the beggar, and the beggar has the money in his hand, and Nur Hadim says to the beggar, now please shake your hand with the money in next to the ear of the restaurant owner. And he says to the restaurant owner, now you have been paid with the sound of this man's money for the smell of your soup. Oh yeah, thank you everyone. Alright, there you are.